Bag, I want the bag. Work my way from a garden to a track. Flip it from a track to a plot full of acres. Do it for the farmers and the producers and the makers. What we even here for? Occasionally I ask it. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of a presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. Beat one code, switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. Beat one egg.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, education, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Greetings. What's happening? Welcome to the B1 Ag Daily Bread Podcast. I'm John Henry Harris, and we have Farmer Brown, the MC. I hope you're doing well, growing well, feeling well, and abundance is all around you. We have a great story today that focuses around social marketing. Now, if you're not familiar what social marketing is, you're really more familiar with social marketing than you realize. You may not be all the way conscious of how it's used, but we're going to talk about that today. But social marketing is the use of commercial marketing principles and techniques to improve the welfare of people and the physical, social, and social economic environment in which they live. Social marketing. And today we're going to talk about it's gone viral. Juvenile, former Cash Money rapper, Juvenile, he's gone viral with his new reworking his hit song "Back That Ass Up" to "Vax That Thing Up." So we're going to talk about just how social marketing, Juvie is using social marketing in that sense, but how he could be using it, hopefully, and other rappers would do it as well, use their social marketing for agendas or campaigns that really are designed to help us, for us, by us. So today we're going to talk about B1 Ag. Juvie raps "Vax That Thing Up," but can we get a "Grow Motion with Me"? So we're going to dive deep into this. Farmer Brown MC. You going to vax that thing up?
First, I just like to say peace to the B1 family. I remember I met Juvie and them back in 98. This was a little bit before his second album blew up. You got to think about how many millions, and we're talking to the B1 Ag family. You got to think about how many millions of people within our age range now, from 30s to 50s, came up on Cash Money Records, Hot Boys. What do you call it? We'll be ducking the law. Influenced by that culture. Shine, bling, bling. That became a dictionary term. I remember Baby said, "Oh, I wish I would have copyrighted it," or whatever. But it influenced culture. It went from the East Coast B-boy to the to the West Coast gangster, to the flashy. Puffy was a part of that. That's a whole nother story. But the down south swag, that really opened the doors. After the No Limit Soldier phase, they kind of, crossed one another. But it opened the door and it influenced our culture. You got to think about how many diamonds were purchased because Cash Money Records came out. Bling bling became a household word. You got to think about how many car companies sold a lot of cars that normally, if we're thinking practically, most people wouldn't have bought. You got to think about how many babies were born because of the provocative music. And I'm not going to sit here on a ethical high horse and say I was just, sitting righteously during that phase. Me and the crew, Bonafide Circle, you couldn't tell us we wasn't hot boys, from Central Kentucky. It really affected the culture is the point I'm getting to. And it turned into dollars for people who were selling products that were being marketed through what we'll call cash money records. And so I have a lot of mixed emotions right now because, like I said, Juvenile was one of those people. He's a great lyricist. I mean, his catalog, I hate to sound like a hater of new school music because there is some good music, but Juvenile comes from a time where you had to spit, you had to have bars, you had to have content, you had to have substance. And so to hear Backs That Thing Up, I know it's a little more details on how this song came about. Grow Emotion for me, Grow Emotion for me. Peace to Soldier Slim. Can we get a Grow Emotion with me remix? Can we try to influence our people to grow something? It's gonna be an interesting discussion, bro.
Now, just so we can, I know a lot of y'all have already seen the Juvie Vax That Thing Up, and we do have a story talking about it. So we are going to take a nice little dive into this. Juvie.
Gotta go back to me check in the street check. Girl, you look good, want you fax that thing up. You's a handsome young brother, want you fax that thing up. Dating real life, you need to fax that thing up. Feeling freaky all night, you need to fax that thing up. Girl, you look good, want you fax that thing up. You's a handsome young brother, want you fax that thing up. Dating real life, you need to fax that thing up. Feeling freaky all night, you need to fax that thing up. I know you can't stand.
Yes, that is Juvenile and Mannie Fresh together again with their new song, Vax That Thing Up. It's a partnership with the dating app BLK. The original song, of course, was Back That Thing Up, or otherwise known as Back That Ass Up. Juvenile is joining us now. As of this morning, your video has already got about 1 million views. I'm sure it's going to go way higher than that over the next hour or so. Just tell us how this all happened.
Well, BLK reached out to us, and, they wanted us to remix Back That Thing Up and call it Vax That Thing Up. And, they asked if they thought it was a good idea. And, being one of the guys that have been vaccinated, and like I said, it's a family decision. I felt like it was a great way to put awareness out there for especially for people like me and people that look like me.
And look, we know, Juvenile, that when it comes to dating apps, some people want to know the person that they're going on a date with is vaccinated. They actually consider that a positive. They want that protection as they might, get to know someone better. But let's talk about the creative process here, because your lyrics, I mean, they're just so much fun. Girl, you can be queen after quarantine. You say date in real life, you need to vax that thing up. Tell us about how you went through this and the writing of this remix.
Well, DLK had their own ideas that they came up with. And, I just, I wanted to be more like the original song. So, I tweaked it a little bit, put some of my ideas in it. But I wanted to really make sense. And Mannie Fresh came up with his ideas also. And shout out to Mia X for coming on such short notice. And we all put our ideas together over by Trombone Shorty Studio. So I think it was just a great creative process with us working together.
This is personal for you. As you noted, you're double vaccinated. And you know people who have suffered or even died from the virus. Yeah. How important is it to you to get this message out, particularly in communities that are lagging behind in vaccination rates, including communities of color?
It means a lot, especially for me. And I'm trying to make everybody see it from my point of view. I look at this vaccination like when you was a kid and you first started, your mom took you to school, to kindergarten. We had to get these shots. I didn't even know what the shots were then, but I knew that I wouldn't be able to go to school without these shots. And I think some of these same things are starting to happen across the country. I know in a lot of colleges, you can't be in attendance without being vaccinated. So I just think that we all should, take time out and get educated on it first. And then we all can be vaccinated hopefully in the future.
So look, this song is so fun. Everyone who we've spoken with who knows that you were coming on our show this morning was so excited to hear you talk about this. They love the song. You also know there's been some folks who have been upset on social media, which I think kind of speaks to just how sensitive the topic of vaccine hesitancy is. What do you say to them?
You know, a lot of people lost family members, so I send out my condolences to them and their family, and I want them to know that I hurt just like they hurt. I have the same. I've lost family members too, and it's a scary, it's a slippery slope. So what I say to everybody else outside of that, just speaking on it, man, just get educated. I'm not telling you, or, you know, forcing you or pushing you to go get vaccinated. I'm telling you, make a family decision. Talk to your family and get educated on it, and make the right decision.
You feel better being double vaccinated at this point?
Yeah, I do. I actually do, but I'm still wearing my mask, you know, social distancing, washing my hands and stuff like that. So I'm still doing the same process. My wife's not having it anyway, so.
There wasn't a lot of social distancing in that video. I just want to be clear. A lot of that looked like it was within 6 feet and some other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we try to have a lot of fun with doing it. I'm pretty sure that most people in that video are vaccinated, not sure, but it was a great thing.
I guess that's the message, right? You can get closer if you're vaccinated.
Yeah, especially if you want an online date. I think it'll be a smart thing to know that the person you want to date is vaccinated.
I know we spied some eggplant emojis in your video. I mean, this thing is very tongue in cheek. It's very funny, and we love it.
Thank you.
Had
fun doing it.
Thank you for the message you're sending, and thank you for joining us this morning. I really appreciate it. And you're going to have to explain the eggplant thing to me, Brianna, at some point.
I'm not doing that.
Corona.
Social marketing, the use of commercial marketing principles and techniques to improve the welfare of people and the physical, social, and economic environment in which they live. Now, you have the positive reactions to Juvie's video, but you also have negative reactions. You know, there are people calling Juvie that are calling Juvenile a sellout. You know, Biden is openly on a push to get more people vaccinated, and they're using, and of course they want who vaccinated, especially the melanated people of this country. So they will turn to rappers to get us to get, you know, vaccinated, or to get your booty to the polls, or to vote or die, rock the vote, rap the vote. But what if we get our artists to push agendas for the B1 community, for the Black community? That's what we need.
I'm gonna try my best to remain objective. We're definitely not here to give medical advice or coerce, or, you know, what you do is what you do. Historically, you know, in a biological entity that we call Earth, viruses are, you know, we have all sorts of viruses and bacteria in our bodies. We have immune systems that were designed by the Most High, however you would word that mitigate these things. And so, like I said, I don't have a degree in biology. I have a degree in agriculture, and what I do know is that agriculture is the way we produce food. What I also know is healthy food leads to a healthy lifestyle. When we talk about this concept of social marketing, it is, I have to say it's disgusting. I have to say it's disgusting how right now in 2020, at the end of 2020 and 2021, it seems like whether people are being nefarious or not, that's for the viewer to decide. People play to the base instincts of either we're criminals or we're just hypersexual. Peace to this, the sister Lioness Crown. She was talking about yesterday up in New York to try to influence or urge some of the people that are incarcerated to get vaccinated, that they'll offer a pool for conjugal visits and a barbecue. You know, some places there's a lottery. Some places down in New Orleans there were fish fries, free beer, free donuts. And so what I would say, as to not get into my feelings about this topic, is how can we apply this to growing food? We know historically, without a doubt, with no question, that a healthy diet definitely leads to a longer, healthier lifestyle. We realize right now in North America, out of 3.5 million farmers, only a little over 35 to 40,000 are black farmers. This is less than 1.4%. When I say black, I mean melanated, aboriginal. Some of these words there, I'm not going to say they're arbitrary, but we really got to focus on, okay, if the people who are putting money behind backs that thing up because it was marketed, somebody had to spend money to say, I'm going to give you a camera, I'm going to give you a microphone, and I'm going to make sure you get views. I'm going to make sure you get listens. What are we or can we do as a community to follow suit? You know, what do they say? Follow the money. The money is going super hard at promoting a group who they assume is just base characters who just live for sex and barbecues and donuts and we're crime prone. This is the narrative they're pushing. But I tend to believe, you know, within the melanated community, we want to be healthy. We want to live as formidable quality lives as possible. We want our offspring, we want our family to be healthy. So like I said, without a question, food is a definite way to maintain that health. Farmers are the people that produce food. We've been having this continuous discussion about the direction of where our food is going. It's going to not just processed meats. We've lived long enough to now see that the rise in cancer, the rise in a lot of other pre-existing conditions that we need all of this help for comes from highly processed foods, foods that have a lot of sugar, foods that you have to add a lot of chemicals to store it, to ship it for thousands of miles over the ocean. We also understand, okay, because we like certain grains, we realize that grains are pretty much, 80% of the daily nutrients that we get. And so to get thousands and thousands of acres of grains, you got to spray them down with chemicals, fertilizers. You got to spray them down with pesticides. This is to get rid of your insects, your rodents, and herbicides. This is to get rid of the weeds. Well, we know some of these herbicides, such as like atrazine, it's been shown and proven to change the sex of a frog. We know some of the cash crops, since we realize that agriculture is one of its biggest export in North America. Everything that's being grown in for human consumption. A lot of what we see on the side of the roads is for livestock. Agriculture is, I'm not going to sit and say it's just a nice, peachy industry. It can get cutthroat. At the end of the day, it has become a thing where it is about the dollar. How can we promote agriculture in a healthy way? Not only promoting agriculture in a healthy way, but how do we promote melanated farmers as the solution to this bad health? How do we promote melanated farmers as, hey, we've seen what the tech people got in mind to fix the problems of society. Now, why don't we get instruction, get some counsel from those that are the direct descendants of those that built this country, which are the black agriculturalists that never got the patent rights for their inventions while they were out on the field trying to make something out of nothing. That was one of Juvenile's line, make something out of nothing, you handle your biz. This is what black farmers have been doing their whole time since this introduction to European culture. So saying that to say, if we see that rap music is used as a means to affect our way of seeing our place within different things going on, how can we apply that to agriculture?
Well, you are Farmer Brown, the MC, and you do have a lot, and then we have a lot of great examples of Farmer Brown, the MC, promoting agriculture using rap, using social marketing for agriculture in a way that is not degrading to us. That's my biggest issue with a lot of these social marketing campaigns when it comes to who they target, when they target us for their agenda. It's kind of like, it's just either condescending or real, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. Whether the agenda doesn't line up to what we're doing or just the way they present their social marketing campaign is, it's just not very respectful. I'm down here in Georgia, and I got a great taste of it. The country did, when they were trying to get Warnock into office. So they really wanted to target Black folks, in particular Black men, to get to the polls in Georgia. So somebody came up with a great idea of using, since Atlanta is known for, all the strip clubs and things like that, the nightlife, get your booty to the polls. And this is just a step away from agriculture, but it's just another example of, how they're using social marketing, and especially to push their agenda. And we really need to use social marketing in a better way. And on this show, we will show you great examples of how social marketing has been used.
Hello, and welcome to another Get Your Booty to the Poll public service announcement.
First of all, we want to thank you, brothers, for getting your booty to the poll during the November 3rd election. We had record voter turnout.
Making it rain ballots, y'all.
But it's not over yet. Georgia has a runoff election on January 5th for 2 Senate seats. We want you to know that it's not about who you vote for, it's what you vote for.
Want criminal justice reform?
What kind of judges do you want in our courts?
The Senate approves presidential appointments, like who runs the Department of Justice and the FBI.
The Senate approves federal judges, and that's a lifetime appointment, y'all.
Black lives matter to us. Want to know if Black lives matter to the candidates? Go to getyourbootytothepoll.com to learn where they stand on issues that affect us. And by us, we mean Black people. So think about what you want, Georgia. And on January 5th, let's finish what we started.
Get your booty to the poll.
The Georgia Senate runoff is January 5th, and early voting starts December 14th. Let's finish what we started. For voter resources, go to getyourbootytothepoll.com.
Vote, stretch, yeah, vote, stretch, vote.
Okay, so I've never met Warnock. B1 Ag family. So what were we discussing back in the winter?
Like Martin.
What were we discussing in the winter? The introduction of the bill that Warnock himself was a part of for Black farmers. What is it? The Farmers of Color Act and Minority Farmers, which was designed for debt relief for Black farmers who have been discriminated against from the USDA. And so I imagine there was a formidable amount of people, especially in rural Georgia, that was like, you know what? This guy's a champion for us. You don't got to give us no rap song and strippers to get us to go to the poll. Okay, so if there was a amount of us that were influenced by those advertisements to go to the poll, what do we get out of getting that person in there? To date, no debt relief has happened for the farmers of color, and actually, 2 states now, 2 Supreme Court judges out of 2 states have now said, "Oh, that's discrimination. How are you going to award something based on race?" So saying that to say, the people who are passionate, whether you engage us through music videos, fish dinners, what did the Black farmers get out of that? Saying that to say, something worked. And I think to really get this agricultural message across, and I'm not jumping around, but I want to really make this point, to get this agricultural message across, because it's very simple. We all have to eat, and that's one thing we all have in common. We've seen over these political cycles that we're not a monolithic people. We have very different views on how the world works, politics, ethnicity, nationality, how we view what we got going on. But we all have to eat. And we realize if we really take a look back, man, now, do y'all got George Strait or Clint? Don't make me go through the names of Metallica or Ozzy Osbourne, whoever. Do y'all have them doing remixes trying to convince people to go vote or to go get, inoculated? And so one has to wonder, why all of this extra love and care? And we saw a microcosm getting Warnock in Georgia. Those farmers in Southwest Georgia, peace to the elder Shirley Sherrod. She's been putting this work in for decades, just trying to bring Atlanta's attention just trying to bring Black America's attention to, hey, these farmers are down here struggling. Hey, these farmers are down here getting their land taken. Hey, there are people dying out here, Black folks, melanated folks, dying out here trying to protect their land. This isn't just about protecting somebody's land that's in their family. Guess what? If you're reduced to having to choose between lab-grown meat or fungus-based meat, who would be the one group of people, irregardless of how you label them, that will have a vested interest in making sure you get real meat, if that's what you want, or produce? It will be your Black farmers. That's now down to 1.4%. I was reading a comment earlier and it said no weapon formed against you will prosper. I absolutely believe that, but you have to be on that wavelength to get that protection. You know, if we're playing into our base instincts, you know, sexuality, right? If this is what the helpful crew is playing to us for, you got to wonder the quality of the service or the product that they're passing to us. When I think about Juvenile and the impact, I mean, obviously a lot of younger cats, you know, probably don't know about, you know, the history of Hot Boys and Cash Money Records. But when I think about this song, Vax That Thing Up, there's literally millions of people, whether they like it or dislike it, that heard that song. And there will be at least a few thousand that will be impacted. They'll look at Terrence Gray, Juvenile, and be like, you know what, man, I look up to him. When I followed his lead back in the 90s and 2000s, man, I had a great time. I turned up. So maybe this brother knows what he's talking about. Like I said, here at B1 Ag, we're not here to give anybody any advice, but can we get some of these rappers? Because there is a bag attached to it. Let's just be honest. I don't know this man's mind and thought process, but I don't think he would have, done this for free, right? Is there a bag? Are we incentivizing as a community, you know, some of the rappers that are popular, that can get a few million people to look at a couple of minutes of them doing their craft? You have brought up Farmer Brown. So my goal of Farmer Brown, it wasn't necessarily to be a hip-hop artist. You know, I had done that, you know, back in the 90s and 2000s. My goal was to be the Bill Cosby, LeVar Burton of agriculture, using hip-hop to engage 3rd through 5th grade students who are typically not exposed to agriculture. My goal was, okay, for the few students I could reach, let their first experience with agriculture, social marketing, not be through the narrative of a white farmer with overalls, chewing on a corn cob, riding on a tractor. Since we see the hip hop works, since we see the hip hop is the most popular music around the world, if I can affect 10 kids, if I can affect 100 kids the way that they see agriculture. Today I was presenting to a group of kids, and one of the kids, these were middle school kids. And so one of the kids, he was like, hey, man, did you come to Booker T a couple of years ago? I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I remember you were talking about farming, and then you were giving dollars to people who answered the right answer. That was about 2 years ago when I went to that school. And the fact that the little boy recognized me, this isn't about me. You know, this isn't about Farmer Brown. This is about whatever happened lasted long enough for you to remember that word farming, and for you to have a smile on it, and for you to see a melanated man giving you that information. Now, how do you amplify that? Does that mean everybody goes around rapping about gardening or farming? Absolutely not. But if we see that these industries, these corporations understand the value of using hip hop culture, not just the music, but culture, to sell products, how do we use our culture that we created to sell a mindset of getting Black to the garden?
Social marketing. Now, there have been other good examples of social marketing, especially with agriculture. And we'd like to show you the video called Grow Food. Now, this came out in 2016. The organization was Appetite for Change Incorporated in North Minneapolis. And this group of dynamic kids got together and they did rap about food. And it's called Grow Food. They did a wonderful job. And this is when social marketing is at its best, you know, made by us, for us, pushing a great agenda or idea that's for our benefit. And I would like to share this with you right now. But they did a great job in North Minneapolis. They really did with Grow Food. Appetite for Change. Appetite for Change is the name of the organization. Now, can you tell the difference? How did you feel with that? I mean, I feel great. It uplifted my day to hear these kids rapping about food in such a positive way, and again, social marketing. We need more of this kind of social marketing, in our opinion. There are a lot of social changes that need to be made in our community. And we can help promote these social changes in our own way, for us, by us. And this is a great example, Appetite for Change out of North Minneapolis.
Put up some bags. Put up some bags. We done put up a couple of stacks over the years, right? Incentivize these kids. Like I said, we're not here to be any sort of moral authority, right? We're looking to be very codified. Just to say, hey, kids, why don't y'all work on a cool gardening song or a cool song that has to do with social justice? That's not very appealing. But, I think of things that we've gone in on together, especially during the Hot Boy days, right? Let's go in on creating some incentives for kids to be creative, use their creativity. There was no such thing as TikTok when we were growing up, or even, during the Cash Money days. And so you imagine how we can amplify the visuals. The visuals. It's one thing seeing us old heads getting in the garden. It's easy for the young kid. That's what y'all do. But how do we incentivize it for the younger people to take this on not only as something that's cool to see, but as a part of their lifestyle? That Grow Food was tight. Like they had bars. That was a dope song. I know they got a couple of million views collectively, but that was in 2016. That should have been an avalanche, because this is how we counter this, this campaign that we have now that just wants to play to our base nature. Are we able as a community to incentivize these young folks? It's the young folks that's going to get it, family. How can we incentivize them to create more positive content? It doesn't mean, hey, y'all got to be little, church ushers and just be good and not have fun in life, but really incentivize, hey, because this provides a perfect opportunity to connect you with the local farmer to teach you something. Hey, I got $1,000 for whoever comes up with the best song. I'm going to give you 6 months. I'm going to give you a list of 6 farmers, local farmers, wherever you live in what we call North America, Turtle Island. You got to meet these farmers. You got to listen to these farmers, take notes on what it is that they do at their operation, whether it's an urban farm, whether it's a rural farm, whether it's a livestock farm, whether it's an aquaculture facility. Maybe it's a farmer's market. You got to take notes and incorporate them into your songs. Okay, at the end of this, we've seen American Idol. We've seen a lot of these shows where people are competing. At the end of this, you submit your content. We can use social media. The numbers don't lie unless you're paying for them. But in this situation, okay, kids, because we need you to learn how to market. We need you to learn how to be sociable. The world kind of got you in these little virtual boxes, but you're going to have to reach out to people and promote your song. The least that adults can do, we show up when it's time to watch people beef online. The least adults can do can log on to an app, and this doesn't exist. Maybe it does. Log on to an app. Okay, who's got some new content up? Who's up for the competition this month? Because hip hop rules the world, family. It really does. Hip hop and food. How can we incentivize excitement? How can we see that the concept of the way people are learning has changed over just in a year? It went from, okay, I got to get up in the morning, hop on the school bus or walk to school to a classroom, to now I'm in front of a computer. We see how things change. The beauty of the moment that we're in right now, we can change the way our young folks are being educated. We can change the way the people here in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years see the world through something that we created through hip hop? Are we going to keep letting outside factions, nefarious beings use hip hop to degrade us? Are we going to allow people from the outside to use hip hop to make us look less than what we are? Are we going to incentivize the young folks, the energy, the engines of this whole hip hop culture to make a better future for the family? This is a code. This isn't something we have to go ask somebody to do. We don't have to apply for a grant and tell everybody all your business and your life story for maybe a hope that you can get some sort of funding. I've been in strip clubs where we've been popped on the head with like hundreds of thousands of dollars just to watch one of our queens shake their booty on the pole, so to speak. You know, a lot of us, we learn our lessons, you know, we have a good time, but then we got that karma. So how do we balance this karma, family? How do we incentivize these young people? Hey, here's some positive areas to look at. Have you ever thought about, you know, food production, how food gets from point A to point B? Hey, you don't like to be outdoors? There's a way to produce food indoors. Hey, you good with money? You like money? Well, guess what? These farmers that are good at producing food, they need to make more money. Oh, you got a social media following of a couple thousand people that watch everything you do on your TikTok, on your Instagram. Hey, why don't you, I invite you to come out to this farm. If I can get a third, matter of fact, even 1% of your 1,000 followers to say, yeah, I'll buy some tomatoes from out there. Yeah, I'll buy some watermelons from out there. Yeah, I'll get some chickens from out there. Yeah, I'll subscribe to a CSA box from out there. We're creating an agricultural economy. It doesn't take a bill from the U.S. government or the USDA. It doesn't take, somebody to come down. Oh, these poor black folks don't know how to do anything. It doesn't take none of that. All we got is us, and all we need is us. But it has to be marketed.
Now, Farmer Brown, we did a great program, Basics for Young Bosses. And it was a production camp aimed to teach the kids production over consumption. Now, through this program, we did get funding from the University of Kentucky Federal Credit Union. They added a financial literacy portion to the program, taught the kids entrepreneurship. And the first year, they over the 2 years we did the program, we had over almost 30 kids ages 8 to 16 become published authors. There are very creative ways we can use music, we can use the arts. This is not new. We can use the arts to teach our kids. We can use the arts and engagement to show them something new. We can open their minds up in ways that they never thought of, but we have to be willing to do so. And just like we pointed out to the Appetite for Change, the kids in the North Minneapolis in their Grow Food video, the second year of our program, Basics for Young Bosses, we actually had the kids put together a cookbook. And the cookbook that they put up was, is Basics for Young Bosses in the kitchen. So just one moment, let me. Okay, well, what I would like to show you, since we're at the end of the show, I would like to show you the video that we made for what they all made, and it was a great video, and it's called In the Kitchen. And these youngsters really grasped the idea of social marketing as they wanted to teach their peers, the importance of eating healthy and making healthy food choices. And this is their contribution for that. And it is called In the Kitchen. Just one moment as I pull it up.
There's power in truth, family. Right now, it can't be more evident of what's going on. What do they say? What's understood, what's overstood don't need to be explained. We see what works. We see that incentivizing behaviors, thought processes works. And so it's left to us, of those that care. It doesn't mean everybody coming together holding hands. You know, these are strategies that we can apply wherever we're at, with whoever we're around. There's not a central location you have to log into or report to. It's simply, how do we incentivize this mindset that we need to produce for ourselves? Production over consumption. Y'all like hip hop? Here's a program for hip hop. Y'all are into art? Well, guess what? Everything we buy on the shelf, somebody is doing some form of marketing and artwork. You into finances, you good at math? Hey, we need you to focus on this part. You know, these are projects. These are semester-long projects that you can do whether you're in class or from home. And it would take a cooperative effort from the adults that, you know, understand, a little bit more mobile, to connect them. That these are real life projects.
Thinking about the next move that I'm gonna make. You know I got straight A's when it comes to grades. When you see me on the court, you know I got a J. On the field, you can't catch me, it's a foot race. I'm thinking about the bread I need to feed my family. Health equals wealth, call me cheese and broccoli. I'm rolling in the door, so there ain't nobody stopping me. My name is Sam, I'm the one with the sauce. Cliff veg in the kitchen, help me be a boss. I got grade A foods, it's what I eat. Fresh lettuce, when I'm on the beat.
Young bosses, whipping in the kitchen, what? Stirred in the pot, yeah, we heat it up. Young bosses, whipping in the kitchen, what? Stirred in the pot, yeah, we heat it up. Cook it, 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 cook it.
I got checks on checks, they stack so high. One day I'm gonna make it multiply. I got stacks on stacks, checks on checks. Whip it up, make it trail, make flex.
My name is the coldest, that's my name. I'm in the cooking game, never eat the same thing. Always having fun, never eat raw meat, I like it well done.
In the kitchen with the young boss, Dalia. Like a fruit salad, I'm fresh with flavor. I eat healthy now for a long life later. Put down the junk food and pick some grapes up.
Young bosses, whipping in the kitchen, what? Stirred in the pot, yeah, we heat it up. Young bosses, whipping in the kitchen, what? Stirred in the pot, yeah, we heat it up. Cook it, 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 cook it.
My name is Damaris, I'm a young boss. The apple on my mom's eyes, cherry on top. Got juice like wild cheese, fresh like veggies. When it comes to cooking in the kitchen, I'm ready. I got checks on checks, they stack so high. One day I'm gonna make it multiply. I got stacks on stacks, checks on checks. Whip it up, make it trail, make flex. I got checks on checks, they stack so high. One day I'm gonna make it multiply. I got stacks on stacks, checks on checks. Whip it up, make it trail, make flex. Flex.
Young bosses, whipping in the kitchen, what? Stirred in the pot, yeah, we heat it up. Young bosses, whipping in the kitchen, what? Stirred in the pot, yeah, we heat it up. Cook it, 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 cook it.
That was a great group of kids. It really was. And DMY Media, he filmed it for us, and it's his birthday today. So we'd like to salute you. You know, happy birthday. But see, these are things, our kids are amazing. Our youth are really amazing. And they are really smarter than we may give them credit for. But we got to create situations for them to express themselves, where they feel safe to express themselves, where they feel comfortable enough to even explore their own imagination. You know, these are things that these are things we need to provide for our children, and be conscious of that. You know, great program, great group of kids, great use of social marketing. Great use of social marketing. We need more of this. And here at B1Ag, we have every intention to bring more of this to you. This podcast, although it's not a huge podcast yet, you know, this is a message that Farmer Brown and I have been pushing for a while, for a long time, and doing it boots on the ground in real life and not just online. This is real to us. This is real for us. We stand behind this wholeheartedly. Please sign up at healthyblackfood.com. We'll teach you how to grow your own food. It's engaging, it's entertaining, informational, survival skills. At the end of the day, what's most important, these skills that you will learn at healthyblackfood.com, how to grow your own food, these are survival skills. And we need our youth to have as many of those as possible. Survival skills. Farmer Brown, got anything to leave the people with?
We have a goal to reach 250,000 3rd through 5th grade melanated children, boys and girls. 250,000 3rd through 5th grade melanated children. That equals out to 5,000 students per 50 states. You know, this is just if we're talking about North America. What that equates to is if we have a pipeline of students who are able to watch parents, coaches, program directors, teachers, codified, working together on a food system, something very simple, getting food from point A to point B. If we can get 5,000 in each state over the next 5 years, this is how we create a formidable food system of the future. Because these children, like Ken said, they're full of potential. I'm surprised every day. You know, in my mind, oh, you couldn't possibly know that. These kids literally got libraries in the palm of their hands. And so if as the elders, as the adults, I wouldn't tell them to go back that thing up. I would go say, hey, look this up. You know, look up food security. I hate to say it, so in part, my friends, some of these old niggas, man, what can we do that's codified that is we know is 100% accurate, and we know to have a healthy diet is going to lead to a better quality of life? How can we put our collective brains together, no matter how far the distance is between us on this turtle island, that we can codify a simple concept of, hey, y'all need to learn how to grow some food. Y'all need to know how to get this food from point A to point B. Y'all need to know how to store this food. You need to create value-added products where not only are you just getting a tomato out the ground, but you understand how to can it to sell it at a later date. You know how to put it into a salsa. You know how to put it into a tomato paste. These are all concepts that if our children get this in 3rd through 5th grade, that's a very key age. Coca-Cola, your large corporations, understand if I can catch these children's mind between what we call 3rd and 5th grade, I'm going to have a lifetime customer. Because this is when your mind is forming to what do I see is that applies to me. So if I'm walking down my school hallway, and see, this is when I was growing up. If I'm walking down my school hallway and I see Minute Maid, I'm hooked. I'm going to be Minute Maid for life. If I see Chips Ahoy, if I see Duncan Hines, if I see McDonald's, if I see Pepsi, I become a lifetime client. It seemed like a simple logo. McDonald's did a little yellow M with the red square. But without fail, anytime I do this, hey, y'all, I got a red square and a yellow M. What am I holding up? Everybody knows McDonald's, and I've never held a McDonald's sign in my life. How do we create these same mental visuals? How do we leave an indelible mark that, hey, y'all, we are producers in the minds of these children now? Over the time that they're matriculating what we call K through 12, everybody's not going to go to school. I imagine college is going to look very different here in the next 10 years. And so trades, when we talk about coding, when we talk about technology, a lot of the farmers I work with now, the average age is about 65 to 70 years old, not very tech savvy. So how beautiful would it be as you have a replacement force that understands technology and understand the concept of seed to table? how to merge those two together to create a formidable food system for the melanated family that can be traded. The same way U.S. makes a lot of money exporting agricultural goods, we have a codified, in place, B1-oriented ag system. For those of y'all, it's not about separatism. There are benefits to that, but it's a global economy. So how can we codify and make sure we have 250,000, at least 250,000 young Black melanated minds that understand the game? We need to produce something, and we'll sell it to the world. And before we sell it to everybody else, we're going to make sure we can feed our own. 250,000, this is 5,000 per 50 states.
Seems like it should be a very attainable goal. B1 Ag family. We seen Juvie rapping, vax that thing up. But can we get a grow motion with me? If you don't know, grow slow motion with Juvenile and Soulja Slim, very popular song, one of Juvenile's, Juvie, one of his biggest songs, slow motion with me. But can we get a grow motion with me? Can we get Juvenile to rap positively about growing your own food? Can we get Jay-Z to rap about growing some food? Can we get Rick Ross to rap about growing some food? Can we get some of our biggest entertainers who are already investing in agricultural companies to promote that harder, to promote that healthy lifestyle harder, to grow harder? Everyone, if you haven't already, subscribe to B1 Ag. Go to the B1 Ag Daily Bread podcast. Put that in the search bar on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share. Let's make sure that we have this conversation regularly. Let's make sure that we talk about and are aware of our food options very intently. We talk about this every day. We need to insert this into our conversation every day, where our food comes from and how do we grow our own food to maintain food security, food and water. There's a lot going on in the world right now. The world is changing, climate is changing, and we need to make sure that we stay ahead of the curve to make sure that we're not left out of the buffet. Can y'all hear me? Can you feel me? All right, y'all. At the end of the day, again, please go to healthyblackfood.com, sign up, how to grow your own food. But at the end of the day, if you really, really want to know something, there's a definite route you can take. If you really want to know something, Farmer Brown.
Ooh, I like it like that. Collard greens over soy green. Learn how to grow something.
Collard greens over soylent greens. All right, for B1 Ag family, have a beautiful day. Have a wonderful day. Grow today. Grow tomorrow. Let's grow for tomorrow.
Get your booties to the garden.
Get your booties to the garden. That's another t-shirt, bro. Get your booties to the garden. Hey, let's get there. Let's get to growing. And let's make sure that we all are a part and have a seat at the grand harvest. See you again soon. This is B1 Ag. We're checking out Daily Bread Podcast. I hope you feel nice and full of this good sustenance and nutrition. And we're going to be back at you again tomorrow. Peace out.